Welcome to the Wireless Technology Forum's February event. As usual, we've got a couple hot items on the agenda tonight. This part is the welcome, in case you weren't sure. Then we're going to do Startup Corner. We haven't had a Startup Corner for a little while. Got a lot of really good Startup Corners on the agenda for the next few months, so you'll see those. We'll do some announcements, do our speaker introductions, and closing remarks. Pretty self-explanatory. First of all, I want to say thank you to our association sponsors. Without these folks, we wouldn't have a meeting. So they help, along with your dues, put on the events. So thank you very much to these folks. And in particular, tonight's meeting is particularly sponsored by IBM, Agilco, and Windows Phone. So they are our sponsors for tonight's meeting in addition to the ongoing sponsorship. Some quick reminders. We talked about these at the January meeting, but just a couple things to remember. We've integrated all the SIGs into the monthly meetings, so you won't see the regular SIG meetings like you've seen in the past. We have 9 great sessions that we're focusing on, and then of course capping it off with our WAM Awards in the fall in October. For those of you that don't remember what Startup Corner is, that is where we have a hot new mobile company come talk about what they have and what their product is, and they get 3 minutes of fame. So that's what this is all about. Some qualifications: you've got to be a forum member, you have to have a real product, can't be vaporware, you can't have not received venture capital, and if you or someone you know wants to register for this, go ahead and go to the website there, you can register. And then we have some sponsors, Atlanta Technology Angels and 151 Locust. Those folks actually screen the startup firms for us and do a little background work, and they help us select our Startup Corner folks. Jesse's going to come up. He's the founder and CEO of Triplingo, and you've got your 3 minutes of fame. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Very nice to meet you, Jesse. Welcome to Jesse.
All right, well, 3 minutes isn't a lot of time, so I'm going to go quickly and hopefully make the most of this. Triplingo, we make language learning products for travelers. So if you've ever been in a foreign country where you didn't speak the language, you know that it can be frustrating. You can't communicate in the most basic way with people. You get marked as a tourist, and you generally just can't make the most of your trip. And that's the problem that we're tackling, is that travelers can't maximize their trip when they don't speak any of the local language. And in the midst of this, travel is changing. For one, travelers are becoming increasingly culturally conscious. So you don't go to Paris just to see the Eiffel Tower. You go to get a sense for what it's like to be a Parisian, to explore French culture.
So tonight, the topic, of course, is mobile video. Is it this year's killer app, or just going to kill the network that I've done? So tonight, moderating, we have Dr. Ben Konsinski, who is going to take over here at the podium and introduce all of our panelists. As you can see, he's a distinguished university professor of information systems and operations management at Gonzaga, Goethe Business School at Emory. With that, Dr. Ben, why don't you come on up and help me with Goethe. Goethe. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I want to first say that for Jesse, that I've been a fan of Triplingo since it started. I think it's great, the evolution that's been taking place, and I'm really happy to see the progress to date on that. I also want to shout out to all the SOBs in the room, the students of Ben, SOBs. There are a number of those entities in here who are always desperate to find out what's interesting in the markets. And so we'll hopefully help them out a bit tonight. We're trying to, in some sense, boil an ocean tonight, but we have a fascinating and awesome group to allow us to address these issues. So we're going to first hear from Jim about some perspectives of challenges and opportunities. We're not only 2012, but we want to look beyond that as well. So a short horizon and long horizon view. Jim?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me tonight. I'm Jim Donovan. I'm the Senior Director of Mobile and Connected Devices at Turner Broadcasting. So it's an interesting question, right? What are some of the challenges we're faced with today? Believe it or not, despite the climate, hiring actually is a tough challenge for us. We can't find talent out there that has good mobile experience. I was telling Ben earlier, and I keep calling you Dr. Ben, I'm sorry.
Ben.
We have situations oftentimes where we'll have requirements for 10 to 15 years of mobile experience. Mobile hasn't been around long enough to have people with that amount of experience. So that's been one thing that we've been faced with. Authentication, that's another one. How many have seen the TV Everywhere product that we put out, right? So you authenticate through your cable provider to be able to watch CNN live streaming on your iPad. You guys like that? It's good, right? But will everybody go through the authentication steps? We don't know. We don't know. We already got some answers. No. Okay. So that's a big challenge for us. How do we get people to authenticate and take the video experience onto what is actually becoming, this is the first screen. Not now, but a decade from now, we'll be referring to the iPad or whatever it becomes 10 years from now as the first screen.
And as we look into mobile domains, getting into that, you cannot let that authentication get in the way of the user experience. So how are you going to solve that, Jim?
Me personally, I'm not sure I'm going to solve it alone, but well, we're going to work with the cable providers to understand what will be tolerated and what won't be tolerated. We're putting out an application on Thursday of next week for the Conan O'Brien show that uses ACR technology, automatic content recognition. That is going to be the first time we'll have put something live in the public that is accessible in an unauthenticated fashion.
And certainly we have a great opportunity for hear from Jerry Roca right now from Nielsen, and hear about some of the trends that matter and observations that he is that Nielsen's seeing in these arenas as well, because the transformations could be as radical, if not more, than some of the things we've seen just in the last 5 years. Jerry?
Great, how are you? So I have one question for everyone. You want to come over here? All right, I'll come over here. I can stand next to my slides. I know I'm talking to like a room this, but how many people have tablets? Good. Something weird happened a couple weeks ago. The first time the Super Bowl was streamed live online. How many watched the Super Bowl online? Or watched a little bit of it? It's actually about average. About 1%, about a little bit less than 1% watched it online. So that was interesting. So this is going to be a cool year when it comes to that kind of stuff. Super Bowl stream live. How many do you all know, and this is something that it's been talked about. I live it every day. But this is the first time the Olympics are going to be streamed live online and to tablets. So we're talking London, 9 a.m., 3 a.m. here. You're going to start streaming live. So as soon as you get to work in the morning, you can watch swimming, gymnastics, track and field. How big a time waster do you think that's going to be? So it's like, you want to go to this meeting? No, because I'm watching swimming. I really can't do that. iPhone and Android are predominantly what's happening. And this is an important feature to realize because these two have really great integrations with some of the other social media aspects, but also with YouTube. So when you look at iPhone and obviously Android, YouTube becomes a big portion of which we'll talk about. This is what I was talking about people are watching. YouTube is the highest rated channel on the mobile, from mobile video standpoint.
Are they wizened enough to start to address this and do something about it and participate?
They pay my check, so I can't. I'm not gonna say anything bad about them. They're great. They're really smart people.
Really great. Yeah. Their checks clear and everything. So and next we're going to hear from Kevin Nicholas, who is with Gorilla Box and can speak to the domain of platform infrastructures and telling us about what is possible, what new things are possible. Kevin?
Right. Thanks, Ben. The first part of my discussion was all about statistics, and the last time I'm going to be on a panel with the Nielsen guy, so we'll speed this up. Jerry, I have data envy. No, good stuff though. I do want to spit out one statistic actually, commensurate with what we've been hearing already, and this is actually from the Cisco mobile video report. They predict mobile TV, mobile TV being live consumption and also video on demand to be 66% out of all mobile data usage within the next 2 years. So about 90, I think about 95%, actually close to 98% of mobile video is off of clickable banners. Well, what about the pre-rolls? What about the post-rolls? Well, as Jim had mentioned, that's going to be, I think, the game changer. I believe, and we'll get into some of the predictions as we go, that the mobile TV, watching live TV, live CNN, or video on demand, that is going to be more and more like what you see on your set-top back at home. The only difference is you're going to be able to take it on the go. The key as well is it's about the consumption of the asset. If you can measure the direct consumption of that content, the inferences you can draw for targeted advertising, in fact, that's what we do. We understand when we stream the content, what the consumption is on that content.
Can we have just a comment from each of you as a parting shot for our audience, a final word of wisdom and expression of aspiration or dread for the coming period? Jim, do you want to start?
So we all watch about 33 hours a week of mobile content. Whether we realize it or not, that's the average, 33 hours. Next week, when we release this Conan O'Brien app that I was referencing earlier, the app is actually going to begin to hear and listen to what Conan's saying and then automatically bring you to the same exact spot that he is and then start getting you integrated with the social content and your sharing, all of that companion application content. There's a step forward from that, and that's where we get into the dynamic ads, where if this device can listen to the television and match me up to where it is, then it can also listen to what I'm saying right now. And eventually we'll be able to take the words that I am saying in an everyday standpoint. I might say the word Volkswagen in passing. I might say the word t-shirt to somebody sitting next to me. This device can hear that. Maybe it can also serve up ads just based off of what you're talking about. It's scary to think about, but if somebody asked you 10 years ago if the Palm Pilot was going to replace your stationery, you would have said no.
I hate X.
Yeah.
Don't!
That's right. Thank you guys for having us too and for your time.
I will guarantee that 90% of you will be consuming media in a much different way next year than you are right now.
Succinct.
That's it.
And I would say from a platform standpoint, I believe you're going to start seeing a convergence, the use of an overplayed word perhaps, but you have two plants. You have a cable plant, you have the IP ecosystem. The IP ecosystem is very well suited for video. What we're seeing right now from a platform perspective is a convergence of mobile and desktop through one platform. In fact, we do that, for instance, where you can stream through one platform and get to any of these IP devices. As you get some of the Google TVs, Apple TVs, as they can fine-tune those business models, I believe that will also extend over to the set-top. And then you have a universal platform to do measurements and targeting.
Well, thanks. Certainly the edge is ever more the consumer and consumption decision rights and very fickle consumption issue. And that will have ever more election and ripple back down to all the way through the carriers to providers. It's going to be an interesting challenges going forward. So I'd like to thank our panel. I'll turn it back over to Meryl.
Very nice. Thank you. Very enjoyable tonight. Couple quick reminders and we'll wrap up and move on for tonight. So of course, if you are a member, don't forget you can see this recorded online. You can go ahead and view that when you get back home or next week. Or if you want, you can actually pick up the DVD if you're interested. Does anybody use the DVDs anymore? No. And now we do want to say a special thank you to tonight's speakers. Again, how about a quick round of applause as we get this ready?